Today we're going to take you to another neighborhood that we have not shown you, which is Old Southwest Reno. It's like no other parts of Reno that there is. If people are looking for older homes, and you can be in price points where you can find condos and townhomes more like 500,000, all the way up to homes we're going to show you here just in a second that you can literally spend $3 and $4 and $5 million for. It's a very unique old school part of town that we wanted to bring to you today. This is the Truckee River, which sometimes has a lot of water in it and sometimes does not. But then also you're gonna see some houses up on the hills, and there's very few houses here in town that are right on the river. But this is the very north end of what I call the Old Southwest part of town, which we're gonna drive you through those neighborhoods. And we're actually gonna show you some stuff that's right here on the other side of the river, some restaurants and some access, because from the Old Southwest, you can get into Midtown and downtown very easily, whether it is walking or on a bike. There's some really cool places and some things down here. And in the distance, you're gonna see a high-rise condo complex, and that is Arlington Tower, which you get some great views back towards the west part of town. So we are now just on the walking path just across the river, and technically anything this direction, what I would consider more of Midtown, heading towards downtown. This is Bougelet Bistro. This was the French restaurant we had talked about in the past, which is an amazing place to eat. And it's in a beautiful location. And as we walk down this street, and you can see bike paths, this is a very not super busy street. The leaves are coming off the trees. So we do have these areas that's not high desert all the time. But as we come around here and we loop around the corner, there's gonna be a few other eateries, there's a coffee shop, and these are kind of the places where a lot of people get to sit outside. And you can see this new building right here has been totally redone and remodeled. So you're seeing a lot of that thing happen in Reno. We're now down over in Idlewild Park, which is one of the bigger parks here. And in the summertime, there is nonstop events going on here. If you ever heard of Food Truck Friday, look it up online. It's always super fun. I was actually here this year. Down on the other end of the park, there are softball fields. Behind you, the river runs in Arlington Tower and some of the downtown places are. But as Sid pans this way, and basically where the Old Southwest is the Truckee River or California Avenue is kind of the most north end. And then on the east side, it kind of runs either Plumas or Arlington. Then on the south end, you have Monroe and the Mount Rose corridor, which we'll take you through there and show you some of the shopping and things in there. And then on the west side, you have Skyline and Hunter Lake. So it's all on the interior of McCarran. And it's really areas where it's, like I said, it's a lot of old school Reno places, Reno restaurants. I've talked about many times, the Stonehouse Cafe is in that area. There's all kinds of really cool coffee shops and just local type places that people, if you're a little off the grid or know some of the locals, that you will know about. But historically, these were a lot of homes that were built anywhere from the 1920s all the way to the 60s and 70s. And this was kind of like those houses we showed you on the river, which is kind of the original millionaires row of the area. And you can find 1930s Craftsman bungalows, Spanish revival and Tudor homes. You can find all sorts of ranch houses that were built in the 50s and 60s. And again, on occasion, you'll see a house in these neighborhoods sell anywhere $6, $7, $8 million or more. If you're looking for affordable housing, just on the other side here where we're looking, you can actually find apartments and condos and townhomes. So if you want to be in these areas, you don't have to necessarily spend a fortune to get there. On the river, when we're down there, you could fish, you could kayak, there's trails. During the summer, there's all kinds of cool stuff going on in the rivers. And again, it's just a different part of town that I think people associate Northern Nevada and the high desert area with lots of desert landscaping and cactus and dry weather, and it's really not like that. There's a lot of places here that are completely different than what you would see in other parts of town. It's just kind of our version of a historical area because we just don't have some of those. It's one of the biggest reasons why people, especially longtime Reno residents, want to live in this Old Southwest area is Reno High School. As you can see, Reno High School is one of the schools that have been here a little less than forever. But some of the other schools, whether it's Hunter Lake Elementary School, Mount Rose, Jesse Beck, there's a bunch of elementary schools, and most of the people go here to Swope Middle School. So the whole area is kind of zoned for older schools that people have gone to. A lot of people lived in Reno for a long time. It's either Reno High School, Sparks High School, or Hug High School. And those are kind of the OG originals. But there are some other private school and Catholic school options in these general areas. But it's one of the biggest reasons why people want to go here. This school's been over here 100 plus years. It's one of the, like I said, original schools that's been remodeled. Been in here a million times for both of my kids when they play sports. And again, as always, we're trying to shoot a little video without getting any students or people in the way, so we're trying to be quick about it. But it's one of the biggest features about the Old Southwest, the schools are amazing. So if you're thinking about moving to Northern Nevada, do me a favor. Click the link in the description below. We'll get you a copy of our free buyer's guide. They get you a lot of great information about all you need to know about coming to Northern Nevada. So we're now on a street called Marsh Avenue, and Marsh Avenue is one of those neighborhoods. This is, like you said, that kind of north end of the Old Southwest. You will see some amazing, amazing houses, and it's like nothing else you've seen in all of Northern Nevada. But Sid, you know, why would you say, and of course you guys don't get to see Sid on camera because she's the camera person, but why would you say, in your experience when you're getting people, why do they love living in these areas?
They love the walkability of it. It's more of a older feel as well that they really, really love. These houses are pretty unique. They're older construction, and not a single one of them is going to be alike.
So this is one of those neighborhoods where when somebody likes something, and it's funny, the price per square foot in these neighborhoods literally goes for more than probably any part of town until you get into like Montreux and some of the really modern brand new houses. But this is like I said, if you're looking for old landscaping and old tree-lined streets, and I mean, you should see the size of the base of this tree right here in front of this house. You're just not going to see that in other parts of town. Now, with that being said, there are some pros and cons to living in an older neighborhood in an older area. And Sid, what are some of the things we like to make sure that people know about when we're talking about these older neighborhoods?
In these older homes, your inspections are going to be very, very important, since homes that have been here for this long, they're going to be in different stages of repair and of maintenance and of all kinds of different things that a lot of people don't necessarily think too much about when they're looking into older homes, where some of these electrical systems can be really old, some of these roofs can be really old. There's just certain things that you're really going to want to pay attention to on homes like this.
So now we're on a street called Romero. We had sold a house recently or earlier this year on this particular street, and you can see it's a little bit older again. It's a combination on this street. You get mostly brick, and in Reno, we do not have a lot of brick. But like, for example, that house right there, the upstairs has got the wood siding. And so these kind of neighborhoods that are quiet and easy, the client that we had on Romero had some really nice upgrades and updates on the inside. So you see a lot of people do that. Well, they'll really modernize the interior, but try to keep these exteriors looking the way the neighborhoods looked originally back in the day. And so they are doing some modernization. Some of these on the corner will have some bigger garages, but that's the one downside to some of these areas are you don't end up with these big 3 and 4 car garages like you do in some parts. These have a little bit of smallish RV access on the side. The nice part is when you're tucked back in here in the Old Southwest, it is super quiet, right? You wouldn't be on these streets unless you lived in these neighborhoods, or unless you're crazy like us and you're driving around shooting videos for all you guys. But these are those neighborhoods, like I said, that are just so unique and so amazing. And it's part of what makes being a real estate agent fun, because you never know what you're going to see inside in these neighborhoods. So, but what's funny is you feel like you're way out here in the middle of nowhere, or in these neighborhoods where there's no access to anything. And really, in 5 minutes in any direction, there's everything you could ever want, and you're really from here about 10 minutes from the airport. So if you're someone who travels for work a lot or those kind of things, it is easy to get back to that stuff. So we are now in the shopping center that is still part of the Old Southwest. You're right basically on the corner of Arlington and Plum. So from here, you're literally 10 minutes to the airport. This is Butcher Boy, the kitchen table, which we've eaten in there a few times. Right behind us, which you can't see in the video right now, is a Pilates studio, a travel store. There's a little more like when you go walking through downtown areas and you get to see a little bit more of the eclectic fancy places, but it's not an eclectic fancy looking shopping center. You got the clay canvas and Canalvino. There's like fun stuff to do in here, but it is, again, easy, accessible. Most people that come into this complex are going to be people that are living in this area. You got a UPS store, the Back Doctors. And as we come out here, we're going to make a left turn onto Arlington. So again, you're right on the corner of Arlington and Plum. You're going to be, I gotta think it's the oldest golf course in town. It is our public muni golf course, which is Washoe Golf Course. So we'll take you a little shot of that. And then really at the end of the day, the Old Southwest is not a huge neighborhood. It's not a huge area, but it is one of the cool areas that runs, like I said, between Midtown, Downtown. And if you're looking for this type of housing, reach out to us, because again, it is very, very unique. So, and this is Washoe Golf Course. Now, it is, like I said, flat as a pancake. It is a super fun place to learn how to play golf, to enjoy yourself playing golf. It's inexpensive. So if you've got kids and you live in these neighborhoods, in these areas, it's actually a really good place to start. And it's fun. We played there for years and years and years. There's always stuff going on over there. There's always work happening on over there. But at the end of the day, on the other side, there's tennis courts. And it really runs right in the middle of this old Southwest neighborhood, an Old Southwest area that people want to live in. But again, on a day like today, which is a time of filming, we're starting to get towards the end of October. Soon you'll be able to play golf and ski at the same time. So just another cool added feature, something fun to do and inexpensive in the Old Southwest. So check out this video we did right here all about Midtown and downtown. You'll find a lot of similar properties to what we just showed you here in the Old Southwest. And if you have questions, as always, please reach out to us.